Hello and thanks for joining me for the Midday News. The election petition filed by Father Benedict Tati against sitting Pomio MP Elias Kapavore following the 2022 national general elections was dismissed at the Kokopo National Court. Justice Penwell Mogis at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 6th, upheld an objection to competency on the election petition that was taken out by the lawyers for Kapavore and the PNG Electoral Commission as the second respondent in the matter. Kapavore's legal counsel, Sally Tadabe from the Mail and Henry Lawyers, said the petition by the plaintiff was based on several grounds, including bribery. She said the application for the incompetency was submitted 4 weeks ago and a decision was made on the objection on Thursday afternoon, which also saw the dismissal of the matter by the court. Speaking for the first time to the media after the court decision, Kapavore said even though the number of votes between him and the petitioner was not mentioned, the 6,000 plus difference in votes spoke for who the people of Pomio wanted to lead them. Leader of Opposition Joseph Lelang says the argument in support of the devaluation of Kina is not convincing, while acknowledging that an overvalued Kina is not good for the country. Lelang said claims by the International Monetary Fund that devaluation of the Kina would solve the country's foreign exchange shortage issues and improve our country's export competitiveness is not entirely correct, noting the current circumstances facing the nation.
Leader of Opposition Joseph Lelang says devaluating the PNG Kina is not a favorable approach. Lelang made these remarks in response to comments published in the press by the International Monetary Fund in support of the devaluation of the Kina. He said the root cause of the problem is the pursuit of an unsustainable fiscal policy, stressing that the IMF should have cautioned the government to live within its means and dissuade Treasury from continuous borrowings. He said many Article 4 missions were undertaken by the IMF, but there was no such advice forthcoming. Lelang said he was surprised that the IMF had pleaded its case to defend the devaluation of the Kina. He said IMF arguments were out of touch with realities confronting the nation. Lelang added that the IMF should only look at the trends in export earnings from 2006 to 2009 at the height of the favorable international commodity prices, where despite high export prices, there was no domestic supply response from the agricultural sector, particularly from smallholders who export 80% of the country's agricultural commodities. Lack of market information, infrastructure and coherent national agricultural strategy meant exporters could not be mobilized to take advantage of any benefits that is expected to flow from the devaluation of the Kina. Mr. Lelang said the IMF should have spoken against the recent amendments to the Central Banking and Financial Institutions Act that not only compromised the independence of the Bank of Papua New Guinea in the conduct of its monetary policy, but also forced monetary policy to be accommodated of fiscal policy. He said these are the root causes of foreign exchange shortages. The imposition of foreign exchange controls by Bank of PNG was to ensure that Kina maintained parity with major world currencies. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
Prime Minister James Marape has directed all government departments and agencies to align with the medium-term development plan for 2023 to 2027. The plan, which was launched on Friday, July 7th, under the directive, Prime Minister Marape stressed the importance of immediate action and the need for all departments and agencies to deliver tangible benefits to Papua New Guineans so that the targets of MTDP4 are achieved. Pangu Party has primary focus on fostering economic growth for achieving economic independence, development, vital infrastructure like Connect PNG, enhancing education, improving healthcare, and enhancing law enforcement. PM Marape says he has instructed Chief Secretary Ivan Pomaleu to ensure that all government departments and agencies operate at unified and planned for the next 4 years. The regional news now. The communities in the northern Victoria are against an add to lake level rise. Residents fear if water isn't released for catchments, there could be a repeat of last year's catastrophic flood events.
With buckets, flood-affected residents in northern Victoria are taking the protection of their town into their own hands. Lake Epilock near Rochester is near capacity and rising, and rain is falling, reminding residents of last year's disastrous floods.
We just don't ever want this to happen again. You know, we want to enjoy our life and be safe and secure, but we don't feel very secure at all. Every time it rains, it's almost like another trauma.
Like many in Rochester, Katrina Jenkins is still living in a caravan while waiting for her house to be rebuilt. She's one of many frustrated by the lack of action, 9 months after floods devastated communities across the region.
The whole idea that there might be another flood is terrifying.
Dams across the state are reaching capacity. Thompson Dam, Dartmouth and Lake Eildon are at 97% capacity. Lake Epilock is sitting at 98%. Goulburn Murray Water can release up to 1,600 megalitres of water a day from Epilock, but just 150 megalitres is being let out. While Goulburn Murray Water manages the lake, it doesn't own the water. Farmers along the Campaspe River and Collaben Water own most of it. And as long as they don't want more, the Water Authority can't release more.
I think we're fighting for our town now. Send the water down, just give us that little bit of airspace in the lake that lets us breathe a bit easier.
Lake Epilock and Lake Eildon are being assessed to see if something can be changed to better protect communities from flooding. Those findings are expected in November.
Coming to terms with a cancer diagnosis can be challenging, and for young people even more so. A new program offered to children receiving palliative care in Sydney is helping them reclaim their lives beyond their illness by writing a biography telling their story.
Deep in conversation, 16-year-old Summer Williams and her volunteer biographer, Claire Davis, leave no subject untouched.
Did your dad enjoy doing that too?
He was getting blood.
After years of treatment for a rare aggressive brain cancer, the Sydney teen is receiving palliative care. She signed up to the Story Project, a free program that provides people like Summer the chance to record their story.
This is my family tree. I actually found it like therapeutic, like sort of reliving some of the things actually made things make more sense, make me realise what I've actually been through.
Trained biographers are matched with the family. Over 8 sessions at hospital or at their home, they ask questions, interview those closest to her, and transform it into a book.
The pets, that's right.
I got to choose all the designs for it, so I was happy that it had ended up pretty much what I had envisioned.
The biography is full of stories, photos and messages from loved ones.
So that's Mum's message, Dad's message, and my medical timeline.
Summer's so much more than the medical story, and sometimes, you know, that overwhelms so much. It's really good to stand back and actually look at the whole life.
While hospital visits continue, Summer's mum says the program and the book have been a gift.
It just gave us as a family an opportunity to just touch on things that you probably normally wouldn't just bring up on a daily basis.
The biography service was initially just offered to adults receiving palliative care, but its success convinced this hospital network to make the service available for children and their families. It's a service Sydney Children's Hospitals hope to provide to all families who are ready.
It's an idea that sort of resonates with some, but not with others.
A book that's both a therapy and a legacy.
Random roadside drug testing for cocaine has been rolled out across Queensland after an increase in drug-related crashes. Drivers testing positive could be fined more than $2,000 and face jail time.
Serious accidents involving drivers high on cocaine have almost doubled over the past 6 years.
We have had last year 61 people killed as a result of crashes that involved drugs.
Queensland Police have been doing roadside drug testing for methamphetamine, ecstasy and marijuana for the past 15 years. But testing for cocaine involved a lengthy and invasive blood test. Now, improved saliva testing technology has allowed police to add cocaine to the list, bringing Queensland in line with New South Wales.
Until relatively recently, cocaine hasn't been a widespread used drug in Queensland, unlike states like New South Wales.
We do look at, wastewater testing to see how prevalent it is and where testing needs to be targeted.
Around 50,000 people are drug tested in random roadside stops by Queensland Police each year, and about a quarter test positive to having drugs in their system.
For those people that are contemplating doing a line of cocaine, you need to think seriously, because the next line you could be in is a random drug testing line.
The new test takes around 10 minutes and authorities hope it will save lives.
We want to see our roads safe, and we want to see the people who are irresponsible and who are a risk to other drivers off the roads.
In sports, PNG professional boxer Junior Kauko Raka has left the country for the bout in Vietnam. His bout is scheduled for July 15th at the Grand Ho Tram Resort and Casino, Ho Chi Minh City. He is matched up against Chinese top featherweight fighter Xiao Taosu, who will be looking to win his fight to regain his former glory post-COVID-19. 30-year-old Raka recorded 2 knockouts in his last 2 fights in the 59 kg weight division. Standing at 162 centimeters, the Papuan boxing representative is as good as his opponent statistic-wise. With equally impressive record, his opponent has won 6 of 11 fights through knockouts. He will take the ring with a 3-0 record in the last fight compared to Raka's 2-0 in the 57 kg division. 26-year-old Tao Chu, boxing weight 156 kg, will be hanging opponent for the PNG boxer, but Raka is well prepared for the fight. PNG Hunters head coach Stanley Tappan believes that the poor start to the match against Belly Bears has left the team down despite strong effort. PNG Hunters suffered a 22-30 defeat in the hands of the visiting Bears, who were strong all throughout the match to deserve the win. Kicking off the game with a slow start doesn't do you any favor, especially when you are playing against top sides, according to the PNG Hunters coach Stanley Tappan. This was exactly what happened to the PNG Hunters in their defeat against the Belly Bears on Saturday. The visiting Belly Bears registered first point of the match in the opening 6 minutes and backed it up with another try a couple of minutes later. This set a platform for the Bears to hang on to win the match. For the Hunters, it was the late score they registered in the first half. Again, in the second half, Bears registered point first before Hunters could do anything. The Hunters coach said, "You can't just start the match like that when you are playing top sides."
Just the starts of each half. You can see when we did crack them there, we fought back late in each of those halves, and with a good side like that, I don't think you can't give them a early start like that. So we did well to fight back, but just probably those starts in those halves. And
the Hunters were beaten in the start of both halves of the match, but they were not beaten in the effort areas. Effort-wise, the Hunters came strong surging late in both halves, but it was too little too late for the home side.
A lot of effort, but you need the results to go away as well with the effort. Can't just have a lot of effort and fall short, so that was the disappointing part.
Tommy Moide and Junior Rob's punches in the middle against big forward packs were badly missed, but both lads will be available for selection after missing out on this match due to injury. The PNG Hunters are now turning their focus on their next game against Brisbane Tigers in round 19. They will be on bye next weekend. Member for Ley and Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso was in his electorate over the weekend to launch the Rosso mountain bike race. Popularly known as the Rosso Cup, this is the biggest family event in Ley since its inception in 2020. Over 600 riders registered in the 2020 inaugural Rosso Cup, while 800 participate in 2022. The August 5th and 6th race will start at the Ley Showgrounds, go around the Roundwarra, out to Milford Haven Road, into the Lake Botanical Garden, then back to the showgrounds. The Ley City Authority anticipates a bigger turnout this year. And that ends the Midday News.